So the operator company here and the engineering company there, two different versions of FieldTwin. The operator wants to share a project with the engineering company. They have the project in their enterprise license, and it's called Project to Share. So if I open this project to show you how it looks, it's a quite simple setup. It contains a bathymetry, some reservoir information, some well data, and a very simple layout. So this might be a scenario that the operators want to share with the engineering company. They also have metadata on their assets. So you can see here it's been outputted also to the stage. They have metadata on their pipelines, and they have some values on the bend radius of their pipeline route. And they also have a riser and a riser base and an FPSO. So this is the scenario they want to share. And to do that, they go into FieldTwin Collaborate. So on 6.3.5, this icon will appear. If you are an account admin, you can click it, and that will take you into this application. And this is the Collaborate version 1 application. So now I can see that I have 3 projects which I can use to create a collaboration. All of these 3 are on the Enterprise 1 instance. If I had any projects in my study instance, they will not show up. I need to be on the Enterprise license to be able to select the project to collaborate. I can also take a look, do I have any collaboration shared with me? I can click here, and I don't. So no one is currently sharing anything with me as an operator company. So I now want to share this project to share with the engineering company. So I click it, and I will just make this screen a little bit bigger. So this is the screen you get. You get some basic information about who owns this project, when it was last updated. Does it have any local backdrops? And local backdrops is the parent-child projects that can be linked in. So typically it could be mapping data or bathymetry data or maybe topside assets that are linked in as a local project. But I don't have any of them. So this is one single standalone project. And over here, I can now start to set up my collaboration. So I need to select which sub-project within this project do I want to share. And I only have one, so it's my new project. And then the collaborators will give me a list of my possible collaborators. And only 2 are added to the operator company. It's engineering company and POM. So I'm choosing engineering company. That's the endpoint. And then I need to choose what type of user role should this data have on the other side. And right now I'm going for view only. And now I just need to send that to an email address that belongs to the engineering company so they can accept the collaboration. So that's something they need to do. So I'm just going to add my own email address and then say generate and share token. So now you don't see my email address, but I do get the email. So I'm just going to do that very quickly on the other screen. There you go. So now I have accepted my collaboration. So if I look now, you can see that the collaboration is here. The engineering company has accepted. It's a viewer role and it's active. So I'm now currently sharing this project. So if I now quickly go to the other side of the wall to my engineering company, I don't have any projects. So this is an empty license. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this test project for collaboration. I'm going to put in a coordinate reference system, and this is an important thing. This needs to be the same as the original site. So the operators, if they have a coordinate reference system defined on the project they're sharing, you need to ask them, what is that? Because you need to have the same one. Or else, if you try to upload some bathymetry data or you try to link in some mapping data, it will not be aligned to the other side. It's the same problem that we get with a parent-child relationship. So I know that I use the 23031 for the North Sea, so I'm going to input that. I'm just going to create a random date. And now, if I open this project, it is empty. And you will see that there's nothing in it. So I go back to my project settings, and this is where you create the link between this empty project and the project being shared from the operator. You will have a new entry here in the top saying external parent subprojects. So the local parent subprojects is something that was been in FieldTwin since 6.1. And now we are able to do external parent subprojects. If I click this, it's an empty list, but I click the link button, and now the project shared by the operator company, the project is called Project to Share, and Collaboration Project is the name of the subproject. So I click it and say link, and that's it. Now I have linked the project from the operator into my empty project. So if I now say save and open project, I will then open my empty project with a backdrop from an external project shared from the operator. And if you look now, you can see that I have a folder in my project view saying parent subproject. The data is coming from the subproject collaboration. Here is the information. I go down to the Christmas tree, I right click it and I say locate. So now you will see in the engineering company, I have this view to the project. If I now do the same on the operator side, open the same project, you will see that it's exactly the same. If the engineering company goes in and start clicking, they will see that they have a view-only capacity. They're not able to move anything. They cannot modify any metadata. They cannot modify any of the data shared with them from the operator side. So this is a view-only model of the entire project. On the operator side, of course, I have the edit right. And if I go down to the same asset on both sides, and as an operator, I move this, it will also update on the other side. So this is a live link. If I now, as an engineering company, is asked to add something to this project, this is the foundation, this is the existing infrastructure. I'm asked to tie in another well, this one. This well is also from the operator side, by the way. I can go into my own asset library. I can start saying, okay, I want this Christmas tree. I can put that out there. I can snap it to the well. I can go and say I need a plet. For that, I'm going to work in 2D for this one. And I'm starting to build. So now I'm using FieldTwin the normal way, as I always would have been. I select my connection. I go into my connection list, select my oil production, and I can also select my type of jumpers. I'm going to create a connection from this one all the way up here. I'm going to bring in a riser base from my library again, put it out there to my connection. So all I'm doing now is working with my objects, my assets, but I'm connecting it to the operator's assets. So this FPSO belongs to the operator, but I can still connect to it. And I can say, I want this to be a catenary riser. So let's just tidy a little bit up. Take a look in 3D view. So now I actually added the whole flow path from the FPSO down to the well. So this exists now in the engineering company. So this project is different from this one. The operator won't see anything that the engineering company is doing. They can build as much as they want. They can add layers, images, bathymetry, whatever they want, and nothing will change on this side because the sharing is going one way only. If the engineering company wants to have a short update to show the operator what they have done to get some input or feedback, they can do so by just going to the view link and say generate a link and copy that link and send it to them. So if I open a incognito window and access this link, the view-only link that the operator will get back will contain both the operator scenario and what the engineering company has added. Again, in a view-only capacity, so the operator cannot go in and modify anything. But what they can do while looking at what the engineering company has done, they can go in and say, okay, this riser is far too close to what you're doing. I'm moving it here. And then you can see the effect on the view only. So this is in fact now a sort of back and forth real-time collaboration using the presenter mode. So that's a good way of doing it. And when they have answered all their questions and you feel confident with the status update, you can then, of course, just go back in here and delete it. And now it's not available anymore. And they can continue to work. So this is kind of the typical scenario for a bid, where an operator asks an EPCI company, here is the bathymetry, here's what we know of the well positions, here's where the topside is. Can you please help us create a solution, an option for the layout? One thing you can see here is that all the metadata is displayed from the operator's side. And that might not be the intended way the operator wants to share their data. So you can control the visibility of metadata by using tags. And this is something that has been in FieldTwin for quite a while, but I'm not sure if it has been used very much. But what I can do on the operator side, I can go back to my setup and go into my user roles. And you see that I'm currently sharing this viewer, but you can also, of course, create as many user roles you want with very specific rights. But if I go to my viewer rights, which is currently what the EPC contractor here has, I can filter metadata by tags. So that means that in the metadata definitions, and I made one of these, it's the bore size. The metadata definitions allows you to tag them. So if I tag this specific definition with collaborate, it means that I can go back to my user roles and say, role will only see metadata with tags. There it is, collaborate. Save changes. And now if I do a refresh on the other side, the metadata will be filtered by tags. So if I zoom back on the Christmas tree, you will see that the only thing showing is the bore size. That's it, because that's the only definition that contains this tag. So that's the way for the operators to choose what type of data do they want the other side to see if they are sharing metadata at all. See, if I remove the tag again, save changes, go here, do another refresh, I will have full access to all the metadata again. So I just wanted to show that because it's one of the questions that we get asked a lot. So what I wanted to show now is that if I take a asset from my own engineering library, I'm still now at the engineering level, or engineering company, sorry. I bring out the Christmas tree and I put it side by side, the Christmas tree shared by the operator. If I go and say show metadata, you will now see that the metadata on this tree is different from that tree. And that is because the metadata in my account is different from the metadata in the other account. So everything I add to this joint project will contain my definitions, my metadata, and my setup. And all the stuff that is added by the operator will contain their metadata. So when you have that going, I will now change this user role to be able to edit. So the engineering company is welcomed by the operator to actually modify attributes in their metadata and also position of the equipment. So again, I go back to collaborate I'm going to blow this up a little bit. And I click my current sharing of the project to share with the viewer right. I change it to editor. And here I need to input change to be able to confirm that. So after I've done that, and I do a refresh on this side, I have now access to edit. And to show you this the best way, I'm going to open the same project on both ends. I'm going to go down to the same asset. So this is the XMT1, Deepwater 1. Again, this belongs to the engineering company, and the operator can't see it because it's not being shared. I'm going to delete it. If I now click this Christmas tree, which belongs to the operator, I can actually go in, and not only do I see the values they chose, but I'm able to see their choices as well. So all of this is defined on the operator account. So if I change it to a ESWT, you see that the change happens also in the operator project. So now the data I'm modifying is stored in this database and being modified by the engineering company. I cannot add any more definitions. I can only use what's available for me, but it is the same as the users on this side will have. So if they say 15,000, it changed to 15,000 here, and then another engineer goes in and say, no, it's 10,000, and now it's 10,000 over there. And the good side about this is that the logs will actually show the user from this side changing the metadata. So if an engineer in the engineering company changes metadata values, the operators can go into the logs and see who it was. So everything gets stored when it comes to who is doing what. And they can also go in and say, well, let's move it. And it will be moved. And again, it will show in the log. So now we are in a situation where the operator is sharing a project, but they also share the right to modify it. And they can modify everything that is existing in the model. The only thing they can't do is add assets from the operator's asset library. That's not possible, but they can modify what is in the project. So what I want to do now is show you how I can create a connection back to the operator from the engineering company and achieve a so-called full collaboration. And to do that, I need to go to my Collaborate on the engineering company side here. And I can now see that I don't have any, yeah, there it is. I just needed to refresh. So now I'm doing the same thing, basically. I select my sub-project. I select the operator, which I added in earlier. I select the user role editor because I want them to be able to edit. And I use my own email address. And I do a generate and share token. And now I need to go into my email again to accept that. And there it is. So if I now go back to a split screen and I go to my Collaborate here, I will now see, oh, sorry, I need to activate it. I always forget. There you go. You need to activate it. It's a kind of a extra security step for the sharing. So if I refresh now, I will be able to see that the engineering company is sharing the test project for collaboration back to the operator. So what we will do now, just going to close this. I'm going in and opening this project on the engineering side. I'm going to the dashboard on this side. I'm going into the project that I originally shared with the engineering group. I go into the project setting of that. And here, just gonna remove this. I will now see the engineering company test project for collaboration sub-project 1 as a link. So this project is linking back to the project that is linking to this project. So it's kind of a feedback if you think of it. And if I now open it, I will see everything on the operator side as well. So now we're looking at the exact same model, both. And if I, as an operator, go in and click on this Christmas tree, I will see the metadata from the engineering company. And if the engineering company clicks the Christmas tree from the operator, they see the operator's metadata. But now the operator can also change whatever the engineering company is doing. So we have full edit rights both ways. So that's kind of the big real-time both ways collaboration happening. And every time someone adds something, so they figure out we need a vessel, engineering company has a vessel that the operators don't have in their asset library. They just bring it out, and then suddenly the operator has it and can move it around. So now they can share assets. The asset, the position of the asset, and the model of the asset is still stored in the engineering company's database, but the operators is allowed to use it in this project only. And this will allow for companies that have very special assets to join a collaboration and bring their asset into the project with the correct attributes, with the correct metadata and the setup, and place it on the seabed, and then let the engineering company do the connections and positioning and heading and everything. So maybe the only participation this company has in the collaboration is to add their own very special asset. And there's no limit in how many people can join a collaboration. So we can envision this to become quite complex in the setup. But that's what I wanted to show you. The metadata is, of course, very, very important. And if you have an integration as an engineering company that will work with the definitions from the oil company, the integrations can be run on the engineering side. So they can do costing, they can do simulation, feasibility, all of that. But they need to know that the metadata is compliant, of course, and the other way around. The operator can also have multiple engineering companies sharing back into the same project, and they will then be able to do contrast and compare between multiple EPC companies in the same model. They can turn them on and off and see the difference between the different EPC companies' solution.